Hey everybody, welcome to Video Lessons episode 15. Today we're going to be drawing a porg from The Last Jedi, which is a creature that inhabits Luke Skywalker's planet that he is currently in. Let us jump into today's video. Okay, so what I've done here is I had drawn two ovals, and if we turn the paper around and zoom in, it looks exactly like the Toyota logo. Is two ovals. What I've done before I started filming this video, is that I've drawn two squares connected, or a rectangle divided in half by one horizontal line. So we have one oval going horizontal and one vertical oval stretching out of the help lines, and this is going to become the porg's wing, and this is going to become the porg's head. I think I may have to stretch it a little bit more later on, but I think this is the basic shapes. We are going to start now to get a little bit more detailed with the basic guidelines. Okay, so what I've done here is that I have created his legs. I'm not sure if it's too short. I may have to come up with that again, but I think the porg may resemble a penguin sort of thing, but the legs look like a duck. So I think I'll have to stretch it out a little bit more later on in the inking stage, perhaps. But right now it is time to get to the facial details. Okay, a lot of things happening here. I have drawn the eyes. I'm just gonna zoom in here. I have drawn the eyes, and the eyes are very easy. The hard part is just placing them in the right places, and which is why we're gonna draw another help line right here at the very top. About, at least I would say, about less than about a little bit like a centimeter around there. That's where the eyes will come up. But if we take up this piece of paper and lower it down, we'll see that it actually goes out of frame. And I think that is it. We're going to go on to more. I'm hoping that we could get rid of most of this time lapse later on, but I think it is time to move on to the wing. Moving on to the wing, I'm just going to indicate where the wings are going to be, and later I'll probably erase all this guidelining. I know a lot of people that I know of really don't like guidelines, and of course we'll have to stretch that leg out later on, probably in time lapse. And I think we're almost ready. I think I'm just going to stretch this wing out a little bit more, go back out here, stretch that wing out. I think I made this porg a little bit too fat in terms of, so I think I'll have to correct that in the inking stage. But I think we're about done. Just gonna zoom out. Let's go back into time lapse and get a little bit more of the details done. Okay, I think we're almost done with the penciling stage. I'm just gonna move on to drawing one leg to show you how it's done. It's like a bird. You can go find any of these sort of like web feet. You can go find, it resembles, I think, of a peregrine falcon. Its legs sort of like that. So I think I'm just gonna flesh out a little bit right here. As you can see in the time lapse, I made it a little bit more. I stretched out the leg a little bit longer. I made the legs longer, but I think I can also do the other leg without the use of our enemy time lapse. But I think time lapse is not exactly our enemy, because he helps us in many ways. He helps us speed through this process, so you can speed through the boring parts and just get the interesting parts in and the boring parts out. I think we are about done with the penciling stage. I'm just going to flesh out more of these, just give a little bit of indications of fur right there. And now I'm going to go reach over and take out my pen, and this is called a Pigma Micron. Remember, I love to use these pens, these Unipin pens, but I have switched my interest to my Pigma microns. They're really expensive, but they're like $3 per pen, but they help me get the lines I want. May not work for you. This pen may certainly not work for you, but it works for me, and it gets me the lines I need. So I stick with it, but sometimes it does have its disadvantages, which is that you have to wait for it to dry before erasing, and I'll probably have to let time lapse come in for a little bit here after I get some of the inking done. Just lay down some of these lines. Hopefully I do not mess up. I usually mess up around the inking stage. That looks a little bit right. That looks right. And inking the eyes is always hard because the eyes have a lot of shiny areas. Just drop that in there. I think I'll draw the mouth now. Alright, I think this inking is, it's not done, but I'm just going to kick it into time lapse to help me speed through this process and make things a little bit less boring. Okay, so I would say that the inking is almost done. I'm just going to go and take out my trusty collection of Sharpies and just color in this eye. I just wanted to say that my inking technique is probably more different than other people, mostly because I ink very fast and scratchy. Other people tend, and I also ink in a very tight and controlled way. As you can see, my lines are sometimes they're scratchy and sometimes they're really tightly controlled, like in this area of the foot. I'm gonna have to tighten it up really slow. So at some parts I leave a line. Let me turn the piece of paper around so you can see what I'm talking about. Sometimes I make a very quick line by sweeping my pen really fast across the paper and it gets that. But sometimes I vary my line and it gets. If you do it very slowly, the same pen, it gets a very very thick line. This is an 05. Sometimes I even get to the 08 points. But I think we are done with the inking stage. I'm just going to let this dry, and we're gonna come back and do some erasing. Okay, so the ink is now dry. I've given it at least 3 minutes to dry so it doesn't smear when I use my eraser and start erasing away these lines, these pencil guidelines. Nobody likes you. At this point, he looks pretty much naked, but I'm not going to. He's not gonna look very much naked after we color him. And I think we are like done with this. I'm using a kneaded eraser that you can knead back and just clean. When you buy it, it looks like this is a Prismacolor kneaded eraser. But once you use it for a while, it becomes like this. I sometimes take this, open 2 of these, and just knead it into one big one. But this one I didn't need it because I didn't need to knead it into 2, but from 2 of them into 1 because I had bought the extra large version. And you gotta be really careful at this erasing stage. Don't want to talk too much about it, but when you erase, you have to try to get as much erased away as possible. Otherwise, some lines will show and it looks pretty bad. And these kneaded erasers, if you draw a line with a hard pressured line, then the kneaded eraser can't take it and it won't erase most of it. Which is why I use one of my favorite brands of pencils, a Dixon Ticonderoga. I use a soft version. If we get a harder version of a pencil, let me see if I can get one here. This is a School Smart pencil, and if we turn it around, and this lead is even coming out. I'm just going to. You see that line right there? That line I just made? We go back to the Dixon Ticonderoga. It's much lighter than the other one because it's a softer version, it's a harder version. So I use it so I can get as much of this very, very, very annoying and unpleasant line work away. And now I think I'm gonna go back to my pencil. Wait a minute, you just erased all your pencil lines and then you're gonna go back to the pencil? Well, I need a shade and I'm gonna put it to almost horizontal. And from the pictures I've seen, this PORG It's almost like a two-colored guy. He's he's like orange and then gray and white, so it's like a triple colored or something like that. And then so I'm putting my pencil like horizontal right there, horizontally, so I can get the nice shading of this away out. And the kneaded eraser can work pretty well here too, because it can get you some nice highlighting. And I'm just going to go over it like this. I don't want this video to go too long, as I mentioned before, so I'm gonna kick it into time lapse and finish up all this shading. Okay, so this illustration of a porg is mostly done. I'm just gonna add some last details before I move on to the colored pencil. And I have here a Prismacolor colored pencil. This is a goldenrod Prismacolor pencil. I'm gonna stand up here to get the right position. I'm just going to color in his hair. I think that is his hair. I'm just going to move it like this. I'm just applying color very, very lightly right here, very, very lightly, so I can always put more pressure on it if I want to. I'm gonna go back to my Dixon, my trusty Dixon pencil. Zoom in a little so you can see what I'm doing here. I think the shadow's affecting, sorry about that. Okay, so I've erased. I need to erase back. So now when we pull back, we can go back to the colored pencil and just keep coloring, apply it harder and harder and harder at every turn. Go down to his legs. And the color is very easy because we already did all the shading before with the Dixon Ticonderoga. And I'm sincerely hoping that this video is not going over 15 minutes. And I'm just gonna quickly get in some color here. That should do it. I'm gonna go back to my Dixon Ticonderoga yet again. Color in his feet. That looks nice. Okay, now I'm going to go in with some final work in time lapse. Alright, we have successfully completed this illustration of a porg. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please hit the thumbs up button, and don't forget to also force push that subscribe button. And if you watched The Last Jedi, please tell me what you thought of it, because I watched it. It was a shocking movie. I'm not going to give away any spoilers. I have vowed not to give away anything that will disturb people in my videos. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. And we will be back with another one. Sorry for not posting videos, by the way, these days, because I've been very, very busy with my Nick Curry series, which I'm currently inking book 4. But after Nick Curry is done, I hope I will be able to go back to my tradition of a new video every Friday. Thank you so much for watching this video again, and I hope to see you soon.